So it's the end of the season, the Premier League, as we mentioned, but it's just getting started still in MLS, or I guess one third of the way, whatever we're at this point. But there are some crazy fights going on over the weekend, guys. NYC FC and
Oh, I
Toronto
forgot to tell
FC.
you, Mike. 2 months ago, Christian punched me in the hallway.
Oh my God, Alexis, you're bringing this up now? Why didn't you talk about?
I didn't think to mention
You think
it.
it was worth talking about?
Yo.
But we could have reported it to Meadowlark.
Wait till my homie / captain shows up and tries to headbutt you. I don't know what the story there is.
So yes, there was a very intense game between NYCFC and Toronto FC at BMO Field.
How many games did NYCFC win on the road last year? 1, 2?
Not many.
I think we've already beaten that this year.
So it was a huge win, and especially after the disappointing loss at home to Colorado. And so NYCFC win 3-2 against Toronto. Great, I mean, and a great, a lot of changes to the NYCFC lineup. Malachi Jones
Looking good.
looking great for the team. Scoring.
Hannes Wolf coming good.
Honest Wolf, I'm like, I was a little bit critical of him.
Bro, I was howling. Were you howling? I was watching this.
I was worried, bro.
Yo.
I saw a full moon, and I'm like, why isn't he showing up?
Yeah, this is when he shows up.
But Hannes Wolf was the player of the game, and he was fantastic. He had 2 assists, but just a great game where there was just a lot of
This showed you how deep NYCFC is. Sorry, New York City FC is. But you have to find a way to put them together. And a lot of questions have been asked of Nick Cushing. How's he going to get this team fired up? And he just went out there swinging.
so
He doesn't want to go out without swinging.
So it was a great game. 2 goals. Toronto got the 2 goals, but NYCFC led this game pretty much the whole way.
I remember Toronto were on a good run. They hadn't lost in 5.
Yeah, they looked sharp.
Until New York City showed up.
So
And I like this little bit of a rivalry there's going. There's a little chippiness to this competition.
yeah, we saw. So I think that we'll pick up the story at the end of the game where there was a huge scuffle. Sean Johnson.
At first, it just looked like the two teams arguing with each other.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, it got turned.
Exactly. And Sean Johnson, who will be an NYCFC legend for the rest of his life.
Right.
You're sort of shocked of like, how could he get this upset? And he went after I've never had to say his name out loud.
Strahinja Tanasievich.
I think that's how it is. Apologies, my man ST. Okay.
Yeah.
But he
played 1 minute.
He played 1 minute, an important minute, and then
Seemed like he did a lot in that minute from the reaction.
They had they had to ring the bell after a minute. But Sean Johnson went after him. Look, I don't know where sort of to begin with as far as like what happened on Saturday.
The video we saw was from a fan perspective. That's the major video going around, and it seemed like both teams, no one, staff, everyone was out there kind of still drawing it up a little bit. Semi walking back, and then all of a sudden it looks like out of nowhere, Sean Johnson starts running at ST.
Strahinja, yeah.
Strahinja.
And so some of the rumors are that there was a headbutt. I've heard that Strahinja headbutted Sean Johnson. I've heard that Sean Johnson headbutted
From the video,
him.
it looks like Strahinja tries to headbutt or at least throws his head forward towards.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's the initial reason why he's sort of upset. I don't know.
No one knows until more is said. Some people speculated it might have been that he said something disrespectful towards Sean Johnson.
Right. So, but look, we've seen those scuffles before. That's not really anything that shocking. What was shocking was after the game, the post-match press conference.
Because we thought we saw everything we need to see. One weird part of that video is all of a sudden John Herdman, instead of trying to get his captain off of anyone, he kind of runs directly at Nick Cushing and starts drawing up Nick Cushing. So we're like, oh, maybe that was just coaches being like, get your team back in the locker room.
Right. And Cushing is just walking with his hands in his pockets.
Yeah.
And Herdman bumps into him. He just like gives him a little shoulder. And Cushing he doesn't even take his hands out of his pockets. He's like, bro, you serious?
Yeah. What was this all about?
What's all this? Bro, you mad?
Yeah.
You mad?
Yeah. Oh, you big mad. Yo, someone get this dude off me with the flesh-colored AirPod. You know.
So that's how
That's all we saw
going into the tunnel.
And then John Herdman was like, let's take it up another level in the post-game press conference.
And that's where things got a little bit crazy because after in the post-match press conference, Jonathan Osorio is they ask him basically like about the animosity in the game and blah blah blah, and he mentions that one of our players, why we were upset was because in the last game when we played them in March, it was quite a while ago, he said that players cornered a 19-year-old on the team, and we know who that is because it was the I forgot his name now, but the kid who scored in that game, the one in March, the Toronto player, and because he's the only 19-year-old that was on the team, and he said that he was cornered and that they attacked, or I don't know if Osorio specifically used the word punched, but then Herdman clarified and said that one of the coaches punched.
I think he said Nick Cushing.
He did say Cushing, but he said coach, and then they were asking, who do you mean? They asked him to clarify, and he said Nick Cushing punched a 19-year-old punched this player.
If that's the case, Nick Cushing would not be the coach of this team.
He would be gone immediately.
You can't swing on a 19-year-old.
But 80-year-old, 19-year-old, both are really bad, actually.
Yeah.
80 is probably way worse.
You could have got middle there. You went geriatric and young. Yeah.
But you can't. So
you can't swing at a 19-year-old. You can't swing at a 39-year-old. I think that's what you meant.
So the idea.
Nick Cushing was like, I honestly don't know what you're talking about.
Exactly. NYCFC and Nick Cushing have denied this vehemently. And look, yes, I got into it with Toronto FC fans. Somebody accused. I said I was at this game in March. I literally did not. I don't have any memory of even like a scuffle. I don't remember anything happening.
You tweet out from your perspective. I don't remember.
I'm there watching
fight.
the game. I didn't see anybody.
Well, you're being called a deep state liar.
Somebody saying I'm misleading my audience. Yeah. I am lying, and I'm just like essentially trying to mislead because I'm
also
somebody. And they called me. I'm a big NYCFC account. I'm like, you know what? That one. You're right about that one. That one.
Thank you for the compliment. Also, can I? Hot take real quick. Have you listened to our show? We've been misleading our audience from the beginning. Okay?
That's been our prerogative from day one.
How dare you assume we're doing anything other than misleading our audience?
So Cushing denies this, and now there is
the first 5 minutes of the show were about pens.
Okay.
2 episodes in a row. What are you talking about? I'm not penalties. Clicky clacky pens.
Okay. All right, you heard it here first, folks.
It's such a satisfying click. I want to take back everything I said about Parker's.
So this is the main thing, is that, and this is like a thing, that I'm sort of not used to. NYCFC has been in the league for this is what, the 10th year now, 9th year? And some people, I'm used to you play in a baseball stadium, nobody cares about it. It's just like, it's embarrassing, the league shouldn't have ever, we heard it all. But then to be like, NYCFC are like are like these sort of aggressors, you know what I mean, like, or antagonists and stuff like that. Which NYCFC has historically has not really been a team that's like, let's scrap.
No, they've not been like what's it called, the Wild Gang?
That's not really the kind of,
really the NYCFC.
That's not the way we play.
No,
it's not really anything. So
if there's 2 things that everyone knows about New York City Football Club is they play in the stadium, and I think a lot of people talk about how big the travel support is.
Right.
And that's usually like a calling card.
And it's not to say that they aren't players that are going to defend themselves or are a little bit tough or whatever like that.
Of course. Look, someone gets stuck in.
We don't have every player's not mic'd up. I don't know exactly what they're saying, but they seem to, NYCFC players tend to do well, tend to fight for the ball and stuff like that.
But we also don't have coaches swinging on 19-year-olds.
Right. We've also met and worked with so many of the players. There's literally some of the most, they're literally so nice that I'm like, no, there's no way you could find any success. You're too nice. And then they win anyway, right?
Yeah.
So and we've also met Nick Cushing personally. And I'm not here to defend something that I have no idea if it happened or didn't happen. But
if it happened, he should be out of the league.
If it happened,
I don't believe it happened because I feel like we would have heard about it.
Exactly. If it happened 2 months ago, this is the one thing. If it happened 2 months ago, and Herdman is bringing it up now, that is such a gross an irresponsible way to lead a club. That
one of your players, out for your own players.
One of your players got punched, and we're hearing about it now.
You're like, don't worry about it. I'll get him back at the end of the next match.
don't worry, kid. Walk it off.
Look, they have to come. I don't want to go all the way over there. They're gonna have to come here anyway in like 2 months. So
look, and it allegedly happened at halftime of the first game. So that couldn't have been mentioned in the post game of that game in March.
That's ridiculous.
So
I don't think-
it's really the. What were you gonna say, Mike?
No, I was just gonna say I don't think Toronto would have come back out for the second half if that had happened.
100%.
No chance.
Yeah, and so not only does it look, and they reported, Hudson River Blue reported that the footage from Yankee Stadium was given to MLS. It was seen, and there was no footage of Nick Cushing punching anybody. There was. A lot of jabber and a lot of people talking and stuff like that.
I'm sure people got in each other's faces
Exactly,
or whatever.
but
Yeah.
the specific allegation about him punching a player was not there. And again, not only do I not think this happened because of like we know Nick Cushing personally, he just does not seem like a guy who would punch anyone.
Right.
But on top of that,
But again, I feel like you're misleading your audience.
so that's my guess. I could be wrong. I hope I'm not wrong. But it's just such a to me it's just so irresponsible and so ridiculous. And I'm not necessarily saying that Herdman is lying, but if he is,
If he knew a player of
If
his
he
that's
knew-
19 years old got punched in the face
That's-
and didn't do anything
that's
about
the
it,
issue.
You're being negligent towards your own players anyway.
Yeah.
So all of this looks bad.
yeah, there's no way where Herdman looks good in this.
He's gonna have to come out and apologize for saying that Nick Cushing punched somebody.
And he said, and Osorio said the same thing, that they were told that this happened. They didn't witness it. They didn't see it.
Bro. So what are we even listening to these
That's
guys
the thing.
for? That's
So, but it doesn't
obviously
mean.
a lie.
But if the kid got punched and he told somebody and nothing was done, that's a bigger issue. And
Yeah.
again, I'm not saying that Cushing did do something.
And if the kid said he punched me when he meant like he got in my face or whatever, I can see that, but that needs to be corrected as well.
Exactly.
Not to say the kid should
It's
face
such-
any punishment, but like you got to talk to the kid and be like, yo, you can't run around saying coach will punch you when they're not.
It's such a wild allegation, and it would have been such a wild allegation if he mentioned it in March.
Yeah.
And if he happened,
No, but Mike's right. I mean, imagine at halftime you're going, all right, boys, what are we going to do in the second half? And when kids like, now get punched by the other coach. I'm like, we're going to have to run that
okay,
back.
wait, what?
We're going to need you to elaborate a little bit.
So look, I hope it didn't happen, but this is but if it did, it is just such a horrible way to handle this. So that's really the main point. Kind of we want to get across. Is just yes, we're NYCFC fans, but that doesn't mean anybody should protect somebody that actually did something awful. But this sounds like one, it didn't happen. And then also if it did, it's just such a gross handling of a player that it did report something and nothing was done about it. So that's
Spoken
it.
like a true big New York City.
Okay. Hope you're welcome. You have been misled.
Yeah.
All right.